Hey, what is going on YouTube? My name is James and welcome back to another video. So today we're actually going to be taking a look at what I consider a little gem within Oris's line of watches. This watch was very generously given to me by a good friend Andy, the person who gave me all the other watches. Make sure you go check out the 16 watch unboxings in two parts. I unboxed this in the first part, you can see my initial reaction, and also I have actually purchased this watch off Andy, or not just yet, I will have purchased it very soon. I'm very happy to say that this Oris is now, or will be, my watch. Which is pretty crazy when you think about it, because it wasn't actually that long ago I was saying stuff like, I want to have an Oris by the end of the year, and then when it was getting closer I was like, it's not gonna happen, so I will push it on to next year, and it's looking like I'm gonna have an Oris by the end of this year, that's for sure. Anyway, without any further ado, let's switch this up and get into the review. Okay guys, to start this review, I thought we'd do the unboxing again. Obviously it's not like a first impressions, but this is the box it comes in. It comes in a very large, very nice Oris box, or Oris sign box right here, with the lid with a red rim going around the outside. It's very nice, and you lift up the lid and this drops down and you are greeted by such a beautifully patterned box. Like, you guys can see that right there. It's just beautiful. And then at the bottom here is all your paperwork and everything. I will be leaving that in there. You pull this out and then open it up, and then it's in here, very nicely packaged away in this. That's signed Oris. And there's nothing else really in this box. Obviously I've got my links in the bottom there. Okay, so here is the watch. This is the Oris ArtixGT. As you can tell, it is a very nice watch, or at least in my opinion it is. It's just so nice. I just can't believe it. By the way, I'll be having one glove off and one glove off and one glove on. The one glove on is to obviously keep wiping down the watch, and the other one so I can do all the focusing with my phone, because yeah, I'm using my phone again. Let's get into the real basic specs of this watch before we go any further. So this is a very long reference. I will not read it out. Instead, I will try and remember to put it in the description. If I forget to put it in the description, let me know. But real quickly, it is the Oris ArtixGT. The movement inside this bad boy is the Oris 735, which is pretty much a modified Sellita SW200. So it's a very cool movement. It's basically the same as the ETA 2824 from what I could tell from research, and obviously you've got that very iconic Oris signed rotor in the back right there. The rest of the movement is not decorated really at all, but it's not exactly a bad looking movement, and I guess that rotor really just draws your eye away from the rest of the movement. So I guess that makes up for it. A size of 42 millimeters, thickness of 12 millimeters, lug to lug size of 21 millimeters, and not lug to lug size, sorry, a lug size of 21 millimeters, lug to lug of 47.75 millimeters. So there's the dimensions for you guys. The lug size is a bit of a pain in the arse being 21. It's not exactly the easiest thing to find a strap that works really well on here, but luckily I very much like the bracelet, so that makes up for that. The crystal is sapphire both on the front and the back, as far as I could tell from my research, which is really cool. It does have lume. As you can see, there's lume pips around the hour markers. Lume pips around the hour markers, which is very cool, and a slight bit of lume on the hour and minute hand, as you can see right there. I'll put up a lume shot now. And it's water resistant to 100 meters. So yeah, it has got a screw down crown, which obviously helps for water resistant. And I haven't yet taken this thing swimming or anything like that. And to be honest, I don't think I will, because obviously I've got the SKX for that sort of stuff, and it works perfectly well for that. So I'm going to do these reviews the same way I always do them. I cover the facts, I go over the pros, the cons, and then to finish with my conclusion. So I've had this watch for a fair little while now. Let's actually get this thing running. I've just realized it's not running, my bad. Okay, there we go. I just had the scare of my life right then. It wasn't running for some reason. I literally don't know why. Obviously it wasn't charged, but I started charging it, you know, and winding it, and it just wouldn't go. I was like, oh no, what have I done? But then it just kicked in again. Obviously I didn't spin it enough times for it to start. But yeah, that was horrible. Anyway, let's carry on with the pros. So the first pro of this watch is definitely the design. Like, I love this design. For those of you that don't know, the Oris have been around for a very long time. They're also one of the few independent watchmakers still going in Switzerland, and they create some beautiful watches. Most iconic would be the Aquis. I've actually wanted an Aquis for a very long time, and when this was sent to me, actually completely changed my mind. I was like, I already have a really cool diver that is very iconic and works. So this is like the next step of like going up the range, obviously my first ever Swiss watch. And also it's just a great sports watch. Like it just looks absolutely brilliant and it's so versatile. Anyway, we're moving on to other points right there. But yeah, the design is absolutely beautiful. As you can hopefully see, let me bring it in a bit closer. As you can hopefully see on the dial, there's like a little rivet where all the hour markers are sort of sitting in, which gives this real sense of depth to the watch. And then obviously with that white marker around the inside of the bezel, or like on the inside, it just adds this real sort of clash of color, and it's just so nice. Obviously you've got the indicators on the inside of that bezel, which do help, but at the end of the day it's a very legible watch, so you can just look down and see what the time is immediately. Now the bezel is bi-directional, so you can go both ways, which I really like. Obviously the diving, I've been informed many times now that obviously it goes one way, so that if you knock it underwater it doesn't show more time. The only way you can knock it is actually to show less time, so that's why it only goes one way. And it's nice to have a bezel that actually goes both ways. It's more convenient, to be honest, for me personally. You've got the day and date indicator here at the 6 o'clock position. You know, you've got Friday right there, 9 underneath it. Now me personally, I love it being here. I think it looks absolutely incredible right there. I've always been used to having a day date indicator like here, maybe a day indicator right here, but this both being here in this position just makes for symmetry. Like it just blows my symmetry away. You know what I mean? I'm very sort of OCD with how I like my watches, so having Oris automatic here and more text down here, although it's not like perfectly symmetric, it's perfect for the eyes, and I find like it just makes for such a clean, beautiful dial. Yeah, that is one of my favorite features of this watch, the day date being at 6. It's just, there's something about that. When watches do that, it's just like, yes, that looks so nice. The movement is a really nice movement. It beats at 28,800 beats per hour. It has obviously hacking and manual wind. Let me show you that real quick. So it's really difficult with a glove, but it has manual wind right there and hacking, as you can see, so you can actually set the time very accurately, and this is run like a charm. This time that you saw it stopped, that's the first time it's ever stopped, and that was because obviously I've not wore it for a few days because I've been wearing my other watches, because this has just been glued to my wrist, as you can probably imagine. It also has a really nice signed crown. I love the little details like this, you know, them giving us a signed crown. It's a nice little attention to detail that not a lot of companies do. Or at least not in this price range, I think. I don't know. I'm probably going to get everyone in the comments saying, everyone does it at that price range. Shut up, James. But yeah, there's the signed crown. It's very nice. It's got a nice little texture around the outside, which is pretty much the same as the one around the bezel. And it just creates for a very nice looking watch. You know, you look down and you see these different textures and you see the similarities in the textures. Now, one thing, when the crown is fully screwed down, it still sticks out quite a bit, as you can see right there. It also has some beautiful angles as it comes down to the lugs, as you can tell. It is very high polish, but you can see the change in polish right there. As it comes down to the lugs, it just creates this beautiful sort of texture. And yeah, it slopes down very nicely. And then obviously you've got this bit where it comes up on both sides and there's a gap for the bezel. I think that's really nicely done. Very nice attention to detail right there. Now the bracelet, although everyone I've spoke to has said this isn't a very good bracelet from Oris, from what I've experienced of bracelets, which is stuff like the Jubilee on the SKX and other watches like that, this is really good. And it just makes me wonder, what am I missing out on? If this is a bad bracelet, like what am I missing out on? Because this feels great to me. Like it's very very heavy, it's very durable. It's really nice. A button release clasp, fold over clasp like that, it just pops down and it's never come apart. It's just so easy and nice to use. As you can see on the inside right there, it is really smooth. Let me get a focus in on that. It's really smooth and just makes for such a really comfortable wear. The distance between the links isn't huge, which adds to just the comfort of this. There's nothing worse, in my opinion, than a really long link and it just sort of sticks out past your wrist here. That's why I love Jubilees so much, because they just hug the wrist perfectly. And then talking about Jubilees, it has got the center links almost like a Jubilee. I don't know if this is classed as a Jubilee, but it's definitely very nice. You know, you've got the different polishing. Again, it's almost like almost a brush, but it's still a highly polished middle lugs, with the outer lugs being very high polish. And obviously the buckle right here is signed Oris, very nicely done, and it just works really, really well. So that is pretty much the pros of this watch out of the way. And when it comes to the cons, they're all very little things in my opinion. Nothing in the cons is really like just make this watch not a good watch to own. So the first things first is the bezel. Obviously it has the, I can't remember what you call it. Is it a tachymeter? Is that how you pronounce it? I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but it has a tachymeter, and I can almost guarantee if I didn't really point that out, or timer scale, but I think that is a tachymeter, I don't know. It's got something on the bezel, and with the bezel being this very, very sort of jet black, you can't really see what's written on the bezel at all. Like even in most lights, it's very difficult to see what is actually on the bezel. So from a distance or even to you up close, it's just a black bezel with a red triangle here, which I think would have worked better. But then again, I guess it is quite nice, you know, looking down, if you get the right light, you can see what's written on the bezel, but it makes it really impractical. And I don't like really impractical stuff on watches. It's kind of pointless, but the red is very nice on the bezel. But yeah, that's my downside with this bezel. You can't see what's written on it at all, which makes it really, really pointless. Now the next thing is the high polish finish just loves fingerprints. Honestly, I find myself wiping this watch so much during the day when I wear it, because it just collects fingerprints like anything, especially the crystal as well. And I don't know if that's how all sapphires are, but you know, I don't have the same problem with my SKX. It doesn't seem to collect anywhere near as many fingerprints as this right here. Now at times, I know I just gave a load of praise to this bracelet, but at times it can feel really clunky. And what I mean by that is just because it is so heavy and it's so thick, it can feel really sort of like solid, you know what I mean? Like it's a mix of a good thing and a bad thing. You wear it and you can tell you're wearing a real solid bracelet, but then sometimes when you need that durability in your wrist, this really sort of denies you that durability because of just how solid it is in comparison to what I'm used to, and that being like Jubilees and stuff. Now at full retail, this comes in at about £1,250, pretty much in most places, still to today. Now in my opinion, paying full retail is overpriced for this watch. That's me personally. I think this isn't worth that price, but on the second-hand market you can pick these up anywhere between £700 and £1,000. Now, for that kind of price, I think you're definitely stepping into very, very good watch territory. Like, for that kind of price, you're getting so much watch for that price. For full retail, not so much in my opinion, but at that second-hand price, if you can get a good quality one, I do not think you will be upset with this watch at all. I think you'll actually be very, very glad with it. You know, it's got a very nice movement, although it's not in-house, and like, at this price range, you can get a lot that's in-house, but if you're not a movement snob, I like to consider myself not a movement snob, but I appreciate movements that are in-house, such as the SKX, but I really don't mind ETA, I don't mind Solitas, I don't mind, is the one Rondas, I don't know, I don't mind all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it's a very good movement, no complaints about the movement. Just because it's not in-house doesn't mean it's not good. So yeah, they're my only real complaints about this watch. Fingerprints, the bezel, and it's a little overpriced for full retail, but then again, most people don't buy full retail. Most, obviously not all, and I still think if you did pay full retail, you probably wouldn't be disappointed, because there is some real shit out there for that kind of price, and this definitely isn't shit. It's a really, really good watch. But yeah, like I said, let's go on to the conclusion. I think, like I said, you are getting so much watch for the money, especially on the grey market, and I think you're also getting a hidden gem in Oris's line, or Oris, however you want to say it, because the most common one that people go to whenever they say Oris is like the Aquis or the 65. I love the 65. Personally, I'd love to own a 65 one day. But this one, the ArtixGT, especially with this white round here with the black, because I've seen a few variations of this, but I've not seen many of this exact variation with the white and the date here, the day and date. It just works so well. And I think for the price, like I said, you're getting so much watch, and I'm sorry for repeating myself, but I just really want to drive that home, that for the price, this is incredible. And if you are like me and wanting your first steps into this Swiss market, instead of going something so typical, so like classic, you know, or not classic, but so predictable, go with something that's a little bit of a hidden gem. And this is definitely one of them. It is definitely a hidden gem from Oris. I don't think you can go wrong with this at all. And I just love it. And I'm so happy to say I will be owning this watch. And another thing about this is it's very versatile. This design is so versatile. You can throw this on a leather if you can find a really nice one at 21mm. I've been looking. Then you've got a very nice dress watch that you can throw on. But I wear this with a shirt and tie every now and again, and it just works. You know, it's not overly large. It's 100 meters war resistant, so you you're not gonna have to worry about getting it wet at all. To be honest, you can go swimming with this. So yeah, it's just an overall great watch. And yeah, that's going to conclude this review. So let me change perspectives again. Okay guys and girls, hope you enjoyed that review of the Oris ArtixGT. I love this watch, and I've got a question for you guys. What is the hidden gem you have found within certain brands? Like for Oris or Oris, I really do think this is a hidden gem. What have you found for other ones? For Rolex, I'd probably say it's like the Milgauss or the Air King. I love the Air King. But yeah, let me know what watch you own that you think is a hidden gem, or what watch you just think is a hidden gem. So I really hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, please do leave a like. It helps out more than you realize. And thank you very much, Andy, for giving me the opportunity to 1, review this beautiful watch, and 2, to own it. So thank you very much. I'll see you all again in the next one, guys. Take care and peace out.